Arsenal just thrashed Tottenham Hotspur at the Emirates to put themselves 6 points clear in what was a fantastic performance through every member of the team. So let's get into the review of the game. Now, I don't really do these videos very often, but I wanted to do a quick match reaction after I've just watched the game right now and kind of give my thoughts on with no editing and kind of just give it to you straight up. And obviously we'll get into the tactics tomorrow when the videos come out. Now, honestly, from top to bottom, I think it's genuinely one of our best performances of the season. Tottenham obviously came to the Emirates not even to play football, which we would get criticised heavily if we did anything like that. And it was always going to be tough when they sit in a loaded block and don't really come out. And I didn't really expect them to press that much. I know a lot of people were saying they would. I know that Frank does sometimes, but I kind of just felt like this game came a bit early for them in a sense. And I didn't really think that at the Emirates, Frank was going to be that bold with his Tottenham team. And he wasn't. And in the first half, it was really tough. We barely had any shots. There was 15, 20 minutes without shots. And then we finally got a pocket of space down this right-hand side through Saka, through Timber, who was excellent in this game, much as everyone was. And Marino did such a good job of an amazing pass through to Trossard, who takes the ball down brilliantly, and we get a deflected goal. And then after that, I can't lie, Arsenal just turned up the volume. Tottenham just couldn't live with us in any of these metrics. I think every single player was uber dominant in their duels. We won nearly every header back there. I want to give a big shout out to Hincapié, who was honestly excellent in this game, coming in for his first Premier League start. But obviously the main man that everyone wants to talk about is Eberechi Eze, and I have to talk about him right here. Now, obviously scoring a hat-trick is crazy because he'd only scored 2 goals for Arsenal before this game had happened. Every single one of them is a brilliant finish in them areas you want. And if you watched my preview that I did on Friday, I literally said in it, I just want Eze to be a little bit more clinical in these positions. We've got him a lot of shots per game. He's our high shot player in the team. And in this game, he had about 6 shots, so that didn't stop here. And obviously scoring 3 goals, and he could have got one after, making it 4. But this is not a new thing. He's had chances in games that he hasn't taken, but today he did, and he was excellent in that, and I really, really liked it. Now, I don't want to get too much into Eze because I'm sure we'll talk about him in the next few days, but there's a lot of other stuff I really loved. Off the ball, he was working hard. The whole team was working brilliant with him, and some of his recovery runs were insane, and I just loved that work rate from him and everyone in the team. And if you watch the podcast I do with Forder, in that podcast, I said on the weekend that I don't think this is really going to be a pressing game because I think we're going to have the ball a lot of it, and we did. Tottenham barely even built up. A lot of the time it's just them kicking it long, and that's winning the headers anyway. So it even fitted Eze, I think, kind of more than someone like Odegaard, but then Odegaard might have helped a little bit more in the original low block, but as soon as the game opened up, Eze was just fantastic, and I really do think that he was so good in this game. His best performance for the team. Now, I do want to give another shout out to Mikel Merino. I think Merino later on in the game, around when we conceded, which obviously is just a freak goal, I think he wasn't brilliant. I think some of his passes were a bit bad. I don't think he was in the right positions, but broadly, I think this is his best performance of the season. Obviously, he got the assist, which he gets in all the games. He has a great goal as an assist, even if he doesn't play well, but I actually think his general play in this game was just insane. I think his pressing, the intent he had in the whole of it, yes, there was sometimes he took too long on the ball in the midfield, but I think genuinely he had a really good idea of when to pass it through, and he was a really good connector in this game, which is how I wanted us to use him going into it, and I'm really glad it worked. So Marino stepped up as well in that position that we know he's become so accustomed to, so great to see. Now, I could go through every single player. Saka, excellent yet again. Rice, amazing. Zubimendi was good in this game. I do think, obviously, he made that big mistake, which we conceded from. Even though he should do better here, this is on him. And I'm not saying it's not. It's not Rice's fault. Rice in the position he should be. This is a kind of a freak goal. 0.03 XG. It's from 40 yards out. And we literally missed a chance that was on the line with Saliba. And I was, amazed that we missed that and they scored their one. But it is just how it works sometimes. Unfortunately, it's not a clean sheet for the team that I know that would have been something they looked for, and I actually think we probably could have scored more in this game, but honestly, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. We take the win, we take the thrashing, and we move on. And I think overall, our defense didn't have any worries. I think there's a certain aspect of the game of Tottenham not even coming out to play. A lot of people will talk about it, and it will be everywhere, where they played this low to mid block and then had loads of dribblers out wide, which is a weird combination, because if you go long, Odegaard's not going to win a header, nor is Kudus, so what is the plan? And I really do get that. I didn't think it made any sense for me either. So I do understand that point. And that kind of made our defense not really have to do much. Like I said, every time they kicked the ball long, Hincapié, excellent. Saliba, excellent. We won so many headers. And Timber in this game was amazing. A lot of the attacking play that we did came down the right side. You've probably seen clips and footage of us going down the right more than the left or the centre. And that was mostly because what we did was we overloaded the right and put people on the inside so that we could get the ball across quickly. This is basically how we created, I think, the majority of our goals, other than the fourth goal, where we overload that side, get into the middle, and then we score, which I just genuinely think was a really good system that we played, and I loved it. And it was clearly a thing that they had done as well to kind of pull out Van de Ven from the centre-back positions to an out-wide position, which weren't exactly where he wanted to be. And then when he wanted to recover and get back into them positions, it was too late, and we kept getting joy down that side because of it. Now, there is one player that I haven't mentioned so far, and I'm somewhat of a big fanboy of him at the moment. He's probably one of my favourite players in the squad, and I did want to mention him here because I don't think I'm probably going to do a video about him, and that is Leandro Trossard. Now, if anyone's seen any clips of me, I've been going on about Trossard for the last 2 weeks about how he's been excellent over the last month. It's the best form I've ever seen him in, and he deserves to be started. Well, in this game, wow, he was special. Really, really good again. Not only is Trossard, I think mentality is something that we talk about a lot in this squad. I think he genuinely has that to a high level. Many moments in the early part of the game where he's getting the fans up with it. He's proper trying to physically go into tackles. I also think Marino was excellent at this sort of mentality thing in this game as well. But obviously scored the first goal with a brilliant run, obviously combining with Marino. And all game, there's certain moments where you just think he's going to lose the ball. There's 3 players around him, and then he finds a pass down the width, down into attacking areas, and we get up into a counter-attack. The goal that we score for our 4th one, he has literally got 3 players around him, and I just wasn't worried. I knew Trossard would find Eze into that space, getting a deserved assist, and it is now 4 games in a row where he's got a goal contribution, getting 2 in this game. And as our highest goal contribution player in the squad right now in this whole season, he is full-frontally deserving to be in this team. And it's kind of mental to think Trossard is this good at the moment. Obviously, we've spoken about it. There's a lot of other reasons, not just Trossard, but in this game, I just thought he was fantastic. So I just want to give a mention to Trossard because it was brilliant. And I do want to give a mention to the whole team, the whole atmosphere of the club and everything. Like, the tifo looked great. The real energy that was there at the stadium, which I hope we get on Wednesday as well against Bayern, was really there. I know people are going to say, oh, it was a bit dire. People weren't really shouting halfway through the game. But when you're playing a team that have got 15 players back and not even trying to attack, then I'm not surprised it was a bit of a stale affair. But the energy throughout the second half and when we had that lead was excellent. I thought the fans showed up. I thought the manager showed up. Arteta, everything he said in the presser, everything he said before the game came true. He was right in what he said. He was bold. I think his choices in players, obviously, we're unfortunately didn't get an Odegaard back, who we thought would be back, but it looks like that'll be a couple of days. But having Madueke come on, Martinelli on the bench as well was a big thing. And I'm not surprised Hincapié played. I was a guy that was really promoting Hincapié playing. I thought he would play, and I think he was excellent. And yet again, at that atmosphere, that level, I think everyone really stood up today. And it's one of them games where not only is it a weekend where Man City drop points, Liverpool drop points, it's one of them games that kind of gets you into that feeling going, yeah, we are this good. Because I think people forget, after that Sunderland game, we did get a draw, which we shouldn't have in the last minute, but we actually played really well in that game. And in this game, we also played really well. We figured out how to break down mid to low blocks in these physical forms, like the first goal that we scored, the second goal we scored as well. And then when the game opens up, we figured out how to score. The 4th goal is a great example of this sort of counter-attacking way that we had. And there's many other chances we had as well, where we win the ball high, get high turnovers, and it was excellent. And we did this without a striker. We did this without our captain. We did this without our leader in the defence. And we were still a team that contributed to Tottenham. Results-based has been a good this season. They've been lucky. They probably deserve to get thrashed at some point, but we just put them to the sword. And the quality really showed today. Eze turned up where we wanted him. 6 shots he had in this game, which even for him, he usually has around 4 to 5. There's a little bit too much, but he scored a hat-trick, and that is excellent. And when you get him into them areas, he will score. Like them areas in the D, just inside the box, he is clinical, and excellent performance, I think, from everyone today. Now, I'm just super happy. Like, this is one of them games where I was actually very confident going into it, but you just never know. Thomas Frank has this sort of idea against Arsenal sometimes where he sneaks a draw maybe when he shouldn't by playing boring physical football. Now, I like Frank, and I liked his job at Brentford where he went from a high block, maybe went from a high press to a low block quickly, but there was no high press in this game. They pressed us about once, I think, and it was when they scored, and then after that, they did nothing. And half of the time in the second half, they were just trying to kick us and just weren't exactly being very good. So it is something that's just going to happen in this game. Now, let me know in the comments if you want to see any of these match reactions again, because I do want to give my general thoughts about the game and not just specifically a player, which we will obviously go into for the next few days. But I appreciate you guys as always in the support. Thank you guys for 70k as well, and I will see you in the next one. Come on, you Gunners.